On May 13th, 1985, nearly 500 police officers converged on a house in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, to arrest several of the occupants. By the end of the day, 11 people would be dead, and approximately 65 houses burned to the ground. The occupants of the house were members of an organization called MOVE. Founded in 1972, the commune embraced several ideologies, including black nationalism, environmentalism, animal rights, and a wish to return to a hunter-gatherer society. They also stated their opposition to science, medicine, and technology. The organization's founder, a man named John Africa, named the group not as an acronym, but by stating that, quote, "everything that's alive moves. If it didn't, it would be stagnant, dead." Like many of the group's members, John Africa wore his hair in dreadlocks, in keeping with the Caribbean Rastafari religion. His fellow MOVE members also changed their surname to Africa, in reverence to what they considered as their true home. By 1978, the group had moved into West Philadelphia. They proceeded to anger their neighbors by staging numerous loud public demonstrations for racial justice, animal rights, and other causes. They would often employ a bullhorn and demonstrate at all hours of the day. This did not go down well with their new neighbors, who complained to the city. It did not take long for MOVE to attract the attention of law enforcement. Mayor Frank Rizzo was a former police commissioner, and his contempt for activist groups was no secret, and he maintained a close eye on the group. 1 year earlier, 3 MOVE members were jailed for inciting a riot, resulting in further protests and show of armed force. The Philadelphia Police Department obtained a court order for MOVE to vacate their property after a series of complaints by neighbors. Members of the group agreed to vacate the premises and surrender their weapons, but only if police released their comrades from jail. By August 8, 1978, not all MOVE members had left the house. When police attempted to enter the house, a shootout started. A policeman named James Ramp was killed by a shot to the back of his neck. 16 police and firefighters were also injured in the firefight. MOVE blamed the police for Ramp's death. They claimed he was facing the house when he was shot, and insisted he was killed by his fellow officers. Prosecutors were having none of it, saying that MOVE fired the fatal shot, and charged 9 members with his death. Known as the MOVE 9, the members were charged with third-degree murder and were each sentenced to a maximum of 100 years in prison. In 1981, the group moved to a house at 6221 Osage Avenue in West Philadelphia. They started to make themselves at home by piling up trash and waste around the building. It was a mess. Neighbors were constantly complaining to the authorities about the group. Events finally came to a head on Monday, May 13, 1985. The police obtained arrest warrants for 4 of the house's occupants, with charges ranging from parole violations, contempt of court, illegal possession of firearms, and making terrorist threats. Mayor Wilson Goode and Police Commissioner Gregor Sambor classified MOVE as a terrorist organization. Police evacuated residents of the area from the neighborhood. Residents were told they will be able to return the next day. Nearly 500 police officers arrived at the scene to help serve the warrants. Water and gas to the MOVE house were shut off in an attempt to get the occupants to come out. Commissioner Sambor addressed the group, stating, quote, "Attention MOVE, this is America. You have to abide by the laws of the United States." This was met with no response from the group members. The police decided to get the show on the road and forcibly remove the organization from the house. Inside the house were 13 people, including 6 children. An armed standoff occurred. Police began lobbing tear gas grenades at the building. MOVE responded with gunfire. This went on for 90 minutes. Police used more than 10,000 rounds of ammunition before the commissioner decided on a different strategy. He was going to bomb the compound. In flew a Pennsylvania State Police helicopter, and police dropped 2 one-pound bombs of Tovex, a dynamite substitute supplied by the FBI, on the roof of the house. It was an attempt to disable a concrete bunker that had been built on the roof. The resulting fire killed 11 members in the house, including leader John Africa and 5 children aged 7 to 13. The fire, fueled by large amounts of gasoline stored in Move's compound, spread quickly and eventually destroyed 65 other houses on Osage Avenue and nearby Pine Street. Officials held back firefighters as they feared the Move members would shoot at them. In the aftermath of the incident, Police Commissioner Sambor resigned, although not until 6 months later. Mayor Good appointed an investigative commission, also known as the Move Commission. It issued its report on March 6, 1986. It denounced the actions of the city government, stating that, quote, dropping a bomb on an occupied row house was unconscionable. Following the report's release, Mayor Good issued a formal public apology, although nobody from the city government was criminally charged. He was re-elected in 1987. Ramona Africa, the sole surviving adult from the attack, was charged and convicted on charges of riot and conspiracy. She served 7 years in prison. In 1996, a federal jury ordered the city to pay a $1.5 million civil judgment to Ramona Africa and the relatives of 2 people killed in the bombing. The jury had found that the city used excessive force and violated the members' Fourth Amendment rights, the protection against unreasonable search and seizure. It wasn't until 2005, 20 years after the bombing, that residents displaced by the widespread destruction were compensated by the city of Philadelphia. A jury awarded them $12 million.